Now that I've got the bolt heads built mostly above the form, I'm going to come back in with a grinder with a cutoff wheel, and I'm going to score it and cut it even with the top of it before moving on to weld the thing together, and then fill in all the gaps and not welding where the slice lines are. That way I can cut it back apart when it's time to weld it all in and make it solid. All right, here we go, coming out of the forms. Oh, these clean up nice. I can make all this match real nice. All right, cool. Let's get busy. All right, here's my game plan, because not everything's lining up perfect and it doesn't need to. But I got most good connections here, so I can get down here low, get up in here. I can split the difference on a lot of places. Then I'm going to tack weld where it all lines up, and then I'm going to come back in with a hammer and beat it all in. Might have to reslice the wheels, give it some room to beat it in. But yeah, that whole side's pretty much ready to go. I'm just going to split the difference and then beat it in. We are very close. It'll work. All right, the next steps I'm going to do, I'm going to bring that slicer wheel in just to make the mark. I'm going to slice down each way, just a little bit on each side, and then grind in a little bit of a shadow line looking profile. But I'm also going to, this side is thicker than this side, and I want this to be more tapered to the bottom. So I'm going to cut some of this off at an angle and then try to pull it down and around. Try to make, I don't know if you can see it from this angle. Try to make this more pointy at the bottom, less bulky, bigger at the top, and tapering down. So yeah, that's just an easy correction. Just gotta follow this line, match that line over, score it down probably from up in here, cut this loose, and yeah, let's just do this. Getting set up here this morning. I've got this good and roughed out. The original cut lines I left, I don't know if you can see them through the marker here, but I left the original cut lines where the two halves joined. That way now I've drawn a line, and I'm going to try, hopefully you can see this, I'm going to try to split this little tip. I'm sure I'm going to have to re-weld and reshape once it's cut and back in. And that way we can open up and it'll sit right back on this. I'll have it open in this way here, that way these, because this curls up. All right, here I've got my two half boxes, still roughed out. There's still a lot of details that need filled and trimmed so it all looks even. That's to come later, we're getting there. But what I'm gonna do before I start filling all these little imperfections and all that, I've got an 1/8 inch rod and two of these, I think you're calling them a split ring pin. You drive them in so that they hold stuff. But I'm gonna cut this one in half so they all match. But I'm gonna make a hinge so that while this is shaped like, wait, let me tear this up here. While it's looking at you like this, it'll hinge open. So I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna remove some metal down this side, so everything sits flush because I'm looking for a flush mount when it's shut. I've never done this before. I'm kind of making it on the fly as really just trying to figure it all out as I go on the fly. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, let me just get started on this roll pin and start seeing if I can get it cut in here, weld it in here without welding the pin solid. An 1/8" steel rod with these little spring roll pins that just barely fits in. Split pins, I think they're called. And if I had three of them the same size, it'd be easier, but I've got one big one, one small one, so I'll cut this one in half. It'll work. Before I go any further, this is kind of snagging up here, so I'm going to use, at least try, to use this drill and these pliers and kind of burnish it so everything fits good. Let's find out. There we are. Let's see if it holds up after welding it. All right, if you can see, I'm really thin in here where I thinned out for the detail on the heart. So I'm gonna come back with the welder and just weld right around this and then come back and mark the line. Kind of mostly grind it back into, just trying to make it look a little bit more uniform. I just did a test run with leather doing the, what do you call it? The hot water forming. I put it in boiling water and just smushed it down in there and rubbed it around. I'll show you how I'm doing it live. But yeah, so that's going to work. I just want things to even out a little bit. So when I trim this down and then come back in here with some teal suede and glue to it, it'll work out. If I had different tools, I could smooth this out, but I'm going for a teal lining in it, teal suede lining. All right, good morning. Wrapping up the final details here. I'm going to hot form some leather. I've already done a tester piece here, got it mostly fit. And now I'm gonna try to I'm gonna put it back in boiling water. I got boiling water here in an Instapot. It's the only way I have to get hot water here in the shop. Boiling water at least. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and reform this, push in the final details, and then I'll show you on the other side here exactly how that I'm gonna do it. And yeah, just keep right on rolling. So I'll get these hot formed in, put them in the house, let them dry overnight. Same as the other one, I'm gonna line at the top of the broken heart one. I gotta wait till I finish grinding the details on that one. But for right now, I'll just keep rolling, and as soon as this water boils, I'll drop it down in there and then start getting it pushed in and formed in. It's starting to slowly boil, which is hot enough. Actually, hot tap water, super hot tap water is strong enough to hot form leather. All right, here we go. Second to last step. I'm gonna take this little propane torch. I'll get it set up to where it won't be wobbling around. But I'm gonna try heating right here at the crest of the heart. I don't want to be too close to the edge or too close to the center, because I'm hoping to pull really some blue lines through here and it'll spread a little bit, let the heat come out here. So I'm hoping to get varying degrees of yellows and blues and purples from the center out. So I'm gonna concentrate my heat right in that area on each one, and then if I need to, come back in and touch up the legs. Let it sit right here till it's mostly cool. Then I'm gonna come back over it with a satin lacquer. I prefer the lacquer, and after that, it'll be ready to glue the leather in. Yeah, let's just get started. All right, now to finish it out, I'm using a Watco, just a rattle can satin lacquer. I don't like the way gloss, the chatoyancy or the sheen, whatever you'd call it, pops off of metal. I don't even like it on wood, really. So I'm using a satin lacquer, Now, if I have any shellac around, I might shellac it later because I really like the way the amber shellac comes through. But regardless, I'm gonna go ahead and get this clear lacquer on here. Probably 3 or 4 coats. I'll play it by ear, see how well it's laying on here.